So always before you start cutting, you want to make sure that you brush everything in the right direction. You want to go with the grain of the hair pattern, laying everything down. And this is the opportunity right now for you to visualize his hair growth pattern. All right, grab your comb, lift that hair off the scalp, see different ways that the hair can lay down better. You know what I mean? Not everybody hair grow in the same direction, so you want to kind of test it out. Start combing or brushing in a way where it's best laid down. So after I'm done laying the hair down, it's time to set in my first guideline, which is the bald line. I'm setting it in with my liners. I don't know necessarily what these clippers are called. I forgot where I got them from. But on Instagram, the Pissed Off Barber, they sell these clippers, and but they're not exactly the same, but they're somewhat similar. What I did was I took the slimline blade and put it on these, because if you buy these and use them with the blade that it comes with, it's not going to be as sharp. But right now I'm hooking that bald line around my client's hook, basically because I don't want to set a standard bald line in. I don't want my haircuts looking like everybody else, so I add some drops and just some uniqueness to my bald line. So using my Andis Supra ZR2s with the 5/0 blade on, I'm just debulking the bottom. This is very easy. This is probably one of the most easiest steps in cutting hair, just taking the rest of that hair off. So using this type of clipper around the ear is pretty dangerous. So you want to hold that ear down. Even I hold the ear down even if the clipper is ways away from the ear, you know what I mean? Just so I can make sure that I'm not gonna nick the ear. So that's one tip, that these clippers, when they got the 5/0 blade on, is pretty dangerous. I remember in barber school, I stayed away from using clippers like these attachable clippers, because once you get it close to that ear, it can really cut your client. And I remember doing that in school on one of the clients. That's what kind of deterred me from using this clipper as much. I started using the wall balding clippers because to me those felt a little bit more safe. With these clippers right here, they got power. All right, they cut off anything, any hair that you want cut off quick, they cut it off quick. Next, with my Andis cordless masters with the lever open, I'm going up about a 1/2 inch, making sure that I keep it consistent all the way through. What you want to do is you want to go over the hair multiple times, brushing it down, making sure that the hair is laid back down, and just go over it a lot of times, making sure everything is at that lever open length. Now, as far as the back goes, I do tend to go up a little bit more with my guidelines in the back. I don't know what it is. If you guys ever experience, like when you're fading, the back of the head just doesn't blend like the sides. That's because you're not going higher up on the blend in the back. You're kind of subconsciously kind of just keeping it low as the sides, not thinking that you have a lot of room to work with in the back. So you want to make your guidelines just a little bit thicker, and just keep that in mind that you're working with more area, with more room in the back than the sides. So normally I just hop right into the one guard and just fade completely up, but this time I really wanted to make sure that the bottom line is taken out. So what I did was I put my lever in the middle and I'm just going up halfway. So as you're cutting that hair down on the sides, notice how his hair grows at more of a leftward angle. Like you would think that his hair grows straight down to his ears, but no, it's growing at a left angle, so you want to cut right against the grain of that. Now with the lever closed and a flick out motion, flick out that bottom line. Remember to start below the line and flick to the line. And you notice that my hand is kind of pulling down his skin. My left hand is kind of pulling down his skin and making sure that the skin doesn't bunch up and kind of just, you know how the clipper reacts to loose skin and it just kind of goes with it. You want to stretch that skin out just like you do with that blade. If you're using a razor, stretch that skin out and then flick out that bottom line. So normally I don't use the foil shavers on African American hair because it just causes your client to bump up. But on this case, I'm gonna risk it. I'm be honest, I'm risking it because I want this fade to be dope, man. I want the bottom to be super clean. Next time he comes in, I'm not gonna put the foil shavers on his head. I'm just gonna, leave it like how it is now. But I wanted to show you guys how the foil shavers can take a whole blend to the next level. sometimes you'll see some areas where you can fix where the lever close won't be able to take it out. So right now I'm just taking what I set my bald line in, which is my liners, and I'm just nitpicking at little areas where I see bulk and where I didn't really fade it in. And I'm just kind of using my corners to attack those areas. So after that, I put my 2 guard open, and I'm just going against the grain of my client's pattern. His hair in the front grows slightly to the left, so I'm going against the grain to the right. When it comes to the middle of the side of his head, it grows straight down. So you gotta really pay attention on the hair growth pattern. So right here, I want to show you guys his hair growth pattern on the left side. Notice how I'm brushing, notice how I'm going against the grain, going in a rightward motion. His hair on the side grows differently than on the other side. So you want to make sure you pay attention to that when cutting hair, because going against the grain really matters as far as getting everything to the same length. So my client wanted wavelength at the top, so that's a 1.5. I put on the 1 guard with the lever open, and I'm just going with the grain, making sure I stay with the grain as much as possible. Like I said, you got to study how the hair growth pattern works. Like around the crown area, everyone has a swirl, so you have to figure out which way your client's swirl is, which way will go with the grain as much as possible, because that's how you'll plug your client by just not really paying attention to how the hair grows and what direction it grows in. Everyone, like I said, has a swirl, so you want to cut in that direction, and that's how cutting a waver can be so crucial. You know what I mean? Like, they usually swirl their hair. If their hair is not swirled, then that's kind of better for you. But most wavers have a swirl, and most hair growth patterns swirl up, so you have to really pay attention to that area. So with the 2 guard open, I'm just clearing out that bulk at the top, not necessarily setting in a guideline. I'm just going to the right against the grain of the hair growth pattern, making sure I brush everything down, making sure I clear out that bulk at the top. here is where you really start to notice that his hair grows in a more left type of swirl angle. So you want to make sure, I said this before, you want to make sure that you brush right against the grain of that pattern. So right now I'm just going to take some baby steps and just blend down. I got my one guard open and I'm just flicking out that area between the 1 and the 2. Now closing the lever on the one guard, I'm just flicking out that middle line. Basically, I'm just softening this line up. I'm going up about halfway of the guideline and I'm making sure that I go over it multiple times, going against the grain of that pattern. Now putting on the zero guard with the lever closed in a flick out motion, flick out that middle line. Now it's so much more easier for you to take out that line doing it this way. This way is definitely more safe, if you will. The way I used to do it back in the past, where I set in the one guard and set in the two guard and flick out the middle line, that's more for experts that want to get the haircut done quickly. This way is more for beginners, people that are having lots of trouble with taking out that middle line with the zero guard. This way is pretty much dummy proof. and I say this in all my videos, here is where it separates you from your average barber. And this is just doing some detailed work. This is using your corners, taking a look away from the blend, readjusting your eyes, looking in the mirror, whatever it takes for you to regain focus and go in with your corners of the blade, take out bulk, take out lines, just everything you need to do to basically take this blend to the next level. It all happens in your detail work. Listen, let me tell you why they call me 360. When they sit in my chair, I spin them in a full 360 and they come out looking like bam. YouTube, this is the cut. And if you like it, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. Also, HustleDreamProduction, that's my brother. He's on the beat. His YouTube channel will be linked in the description below. Also, if you want to know where you can find any tools that you've seen in this video, links will be in the description below. Otherwise, you guys can follow me on Instagram and Snapchat. My Snapchat is Jeezy360 and my Instagram is 360Jeezy. But it's your boy 360Jeezy, and I'm out of here. Chit!